Today, I will be covering the topic of net neutrality. We'll explain what it is, who supports it, who's against it, the pros and cons, and more. So, what is net neutrality? Net neutrality is the principle that internet service providers should treat all data on the internet equally, without discriminating or charging the users on the basis of content, site, platform, application, or mode of communication. This means the consumer can load every website, application, video, or any other form of content equally, regardless of where the content is hosted. Without net neutrality rules in place, internet service providers such as Comcast or Verizon can prevent users from visiting websites and also provide slower speeds for services like Hulu and Netflix. So, who are the supporters of net neutrality? Nearly any public user or business not involved with the cable and phone companies are the supporters of keeping the internet as the open marketplace that it is considered to be today. To be more specific, this entails consumer groups, small businesses, innovators, family and religious groups, financial services, retailers, and as well as some major internet brands such as Google and Yahoo. They're all fighting to keep the internet open. Cable and telephone companies who currently provide 94% of broadband internet access would like to eliminate net neutrality, so they would be able to discriminate on the internet in favor of their own content and services. Big name companies would benefit from a world without net neutrality by paying the internet providers an excessive amount to ensure their spot on the web, which will result in an elimination of competition. The Telecommunications Act of 1996 gave all the internet providers equal opportunities to enable all users access to any website. This goes into the freedom of expression, that users are able to access any website without having to worry about restrictions. To those entrepreneurs who are looking to start a website or a small internet service, this will hurt their investment, as big companies will be the ones leading in users and will have more power and control over the smaller company. It's our right that the First Amendment gave to us, and by restricting our access, we are being limited to those rights. Some big companies have already made it known to the public that they will begin restricting and controlling what we do on the internet, which leads to slower service, and also we won't have access to the same websites we used to without being charged extra for it. So the pros of net neutrality would be there would be no restrictions on what parts of the internet that people can access. For example, there are no restrictions on emailing, instant messaging, video conferencing, or blogs. So, number 2, there will be no throttling, meaning that internet providers cannot change the download or upload transfer rates depending on what the viewer is accessing. 3, there will be no censorship. And finally, number 4, capitalism. This means that net neutrality promotes a level playing field for competing companies and allows startups to have easier access to new potential customers. Net neutrality is made for a free market. Now, let's take a look at the cons against net neutrality. This includes restrictions and censorships. Internet service providers can decide what parts of the internet people can access and what parts are blocked. For example, they can choose to block file transfers and even negative criticisms against themselves or other favoring companies. Number 2, anti-competition. This means that internet providers can block or prevent access to their competitors' services for web pages. Number 3, throttling. Internet providers can decide which services have better transfer rates, but this all depends on how much the companies pay the internet providers. Number 4, money. Internet providers can charge heavy internet users more money to access content. And finally, number 5, monitoring. Internet providers can monitor everything that their customers do on the internet and sell or use this information as they choose. So, why should we care? If net neutrality dies, the internet as we know it today will cease to exist. Cable and phone companies will win the ability to charge internet content providers and even individuals an extra fee for delivering content. This will turn the information superhighway into a toll road. They will also be able to slow down, degrade, or even block the content of any website that does not pay those fees. Small businesses, innovators, and technology entrepreneurs that rely on the internet to reach consumers could be priced out of the marketplace entirely. So ultimately, we would all become victims to pay-for-play schemes. And that concludes my project, so thank you for listening.